Hey, Cryptonauts, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptocurrency Chat. My name is Jake Giavarelli with my co-host Blockchain John, and we are here for the 470th episode on
Yep,
December
yep, yep.
21st, right before Christmas, 2022,
Right. This
if you
is
celebrate
actually,
Christmas.
yeah, this is it, man. Merry Christmas. I think we'll be doing one on Christmas Day. It's gonna be a
Yep, we'll be doing
Christmas
one
event.
Christmas Day
It's
as
gonna be
well,
pretty
but
cool.
this is
Yeah.
the pre-Christmas. Happy Christmas Eve if you're having it and listening to us right when this is going on. But we're going to get into the news because we're just shooting the breeze here.
Yeah. First one comes from Carol. This is from Decrypt. Carolina Ellison, Gary Wang plead guilty, cooperating in FTX investigation. Now, Jake, are you surprised that Carolina and Gary have been, part of this investigation now? Yeah.
Now, see, if it was Gary Gensler, yes, but Gary Wang, no. These people are at the top of FTX. They know full well what was going on.
Well,
They are
mhm.
responsible.
Right. So, I mean, they're obviously part of it, and the question is, are they going to be
I
charged?
mean, they're complicit, just like Sam. Even though Sam was the face of FTX and everybody associates him with it, Gary Wang and Caroline were both heavily involved in Alameda and FTX explicitly. So I'm sure they could claim. I don't want to go into
Mhm.
such gross detail, but the Internet Today guys, referencing one of my favorite podcasts outside of our own, made a really good point recently about how just because you want to change the meaning of words when you don't like freedom of speech affecting you the way Elon's been doing it lately,
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you're not involved. Doesn't mean that it's not your fault. Doesn't mean that any of the things you said or did aren't criminal. Nobody
Exactly.
that is a criminal wants necessarily to be caught. I mean,
Mhm.
otherwise they have to go to jail and stop doing what they love doing. But you don't get to just change the meaning of freedom of speech to suit your needs as you need. You know,
I
it,
was just doing my
otherwise we
job.
don't have a country of laws. Rules that
Mhm.
everyone's supposed to follow.
So
So
let me read this little part here. Attorneys with the Southern District of New York announced Wednesday night that it had filed charges against FTX co-founder Gary Wang and the ex-CEO of Alameda Research, Carolina Ellison, securing their cooperation in their investigations into the spectacular collapse of FTX. And yes, it is spectacular because it's the one of the main news that just does not stop giving. We like literally ever since this happened, that's all we're getting. It's just nothing but FTX news.
well, that
Please,
yeah, there's
let's
plenty
get
of news. It's
some.
just Elon Musk every now and then he sticks his nose in.
Hmm.
So yeah,
So I
it
mean,
is.
this
Yeah, they're
it
guilty.
goes in yeah, it goes into a long detail of just repetitiveness. Basically, that they're going to be helping out in a part of the investigation. Currently, no charges.
Right.
They do thank the Bahamian government and the United States Embassy in the Bahamas for the cooperation because now SBF is back. Well, not he's on his way back. He's currently under the FBI's custody, which is a good thing. I'm sure they're giving him, good food,
Better treatment than the
good
Bahamian
good treatment.
prisons were treating him before.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Let me see what else. There was another thing here. SEC declares Ellison and Wang active participants. Yeah, yes, and that's what we're talking about. Yeah, technically, they were because, like you were saying, Jake, that they're basically doing their job, right? You know, yes, they're active participants. And so it says right here, in what it described as a parallel action with the Justice Department, the SEC announced its own moves to prosecute Ellison and Wang. Carolina, Ellison, and Sam Bankman-Fried schemes to manipulate the price of FTT. So that's probably where they're going to get them, is that for price manipulation on these exchanges.
I'm sure it's
There's
going to be
no
way
harm.
more than just price manipulation, but
Sure.
there was plenty
There's
of things they were doing that were illegal. Like just the fact that Sam, like, well, I didn't know you couldn't mix funds. Like, dude, really?
mm-hmm. Just going
Yes.
down here. It says
But
when
he could always
FTT
follow
collapsed.
Trump and just say, oh, I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I'm just the CEO. I only make decisions.
Exactly.
Those people were
Down here.
doing it to try to mess up my company.
Yeah.
I didn't just pay them
Uh,
millions of dollars to. Yeah, it's like, dude, no, really. I mean, if Sam Bankman-Fried can get in trouble with this 2-year-old company, Trump can get in trouble too.
the last paragraph down, well, down this little section here says Ellison and Wang worked with Bankman-Fried to, quote unquote, to artificially prop up the value of FTT, which served as collateral for undisclosed loans that Alameda took out from FTX pursuant to its undisclosed and virtually unlimited line of credit. Wadawa said. Yeah. So that's a big criminal charge right there. You ask me.
Yep. You got to make sure that the company, I mean, you within a large company that have a lot of funds going here and there, you can certainly move them around as long as you retain records of what you did and return the money back to its original purpose before, the end of the quarter or the end of the year. Because
Well, what they ended up doing was manipulating their exchange to inflate the price of the
I know.
FTT token.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly aware that that's what they were doing. I'm just saying that it's legitimately possible to continue to move money around however you like, as long as you have record of what you do. Because at the end of the day, if you can't pay your bills, then your creditors are not going to like you very much.
Huh? I mean, that's called starting off on a bad foundation.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I heard in the news
I'm
outside of
so
this with
thankful.
a senator, I don't remember which senator it was, ran up a $200,000 bill in legal fees and then just decided not to pay it.
Mm. Yeah. Speaking of that, let's jump over to the next article here because it involves a senator, a
Mm-hmm.
retiring senator. What?
Stablecoin Trust Act. What? Retiring U.S. Senator Pat Toomey introduces Stablecoin Trust Act. That's one of his last acts in office. The Pennsylvania Republican introduced a bill to legitimize the use of stablecoins in payment systems. I mean, I'm not a Republican, but dude, I'm cool with that.
It's. You said you're cool with that?
I am cool with the idea of introducing stablecoins. I think it's awesome. I'm not sure why
Yes.
he's doing it 100%, but
Exactly. That's where I'm always questionable about these guys, especially right when they're about to leave. Hey, let me just
yeah.
slide this
Just
one
slide this
more
through. I mean,
bill
I'm going
down.
to be gone anyway,
Yeah,
so who cares?
exactly.
It's
Well,
like
that's that. I want to read it, and I want to read those earmarks because there's a
ruin,
bunch of earmarks in this bill.
ruin this country for
Who
your children, Mr. Toomey.
I guarantee you, he did not read the thousands of pages of that trust act. You know,
Right.
I'm just randomly
He had somebody else read him for him, and then he got the summary.
Yep. Let's see here. For issuers, the act would standardize public disclosure requirements, including what is being used to back the stablecoin, which must be, quote, high quality liquid assets. For holders, privacy would be uh, tantamount, excluding new technologies like digital assets from Bank Secrecy Act requirements and asserting that private transactions not involving an intermediary or a financial institution be do not need to be reported. Hmm, interesting.
Yeah, it's going out with a bang. I mean, maybe this is the thing that a lot of senators do, particularly when they're retiring. It's not just kind of screw the system that they're in. 'Cause it's like they still live here. They're not leaving the country.
Hmm.
Is they set things up for themselves when they leave the public service position to go to the private sector, so that they can then be a private sector advisor and make crap tons of money because they set up some rule that benefits them directly. And I'm not super into that. I get the reasoning. I just don't really appreciate the reasoning. It's like you just set yourself. It's like when we tried to get senators and Congress people to stop trading stocks on which they have direct influence. It's like, hey, that's insider trading. You guys arrest people who do that. I mean, not them personally, but the Fed will arrest people who do insider trading inside private companies or companies that are publicly owned for insider trading. So why did the government get to do it? It just seems wrong. It feels like to me, if you're going to be a public servant, you have to have no direct influence at all,
So
even once
Senator
you leave.
Toomey, he's not a new guy to crypto. He's been around for a while.
Right.
He's even worked with a bill that came out back in, let's see, when was this? Earlier this year. It wasn't earlier this year. It had to be. When was this? When did this come out? I guess July 26th.
You're a
This
public
came out.
servant. You should be serving the public, not your own interests.
Yeah, he came out with he co-sponsored and introduced the Virtual Currency Tax Fairness Act,
Right.
and pretty much putting it on the record that pretty much all transactions are going to be taxable.
I mean,
And
they are
that's to be
taxable. That's not
expected.
weird.
Yeah.
It's just that
Yeah.
it's only once you transfer it to fiat then it becomes.
Well, no, that's what that no, that's what this is saying. As long as you're making a transaction with crypto, that is taxable.
I don't think. I mean,
I just read it right now. You can click
no,
on.
I know it.
Go to
I
the
know what
bottom.
they're trying to do. I'm just saying that I get why he's doing it in the sense that if you can make billions of transactions and you don't get taxed on any of them, then people
Well,
are just going to do it that way instead of doing it through whatever state methodology they're supposed to.
the, the thing that you keep bringing up in weeks prior is how do they expect to actually track
Well,
people making these
yeah, no, that's
transactions
what I'm
on
saying.
blockchain?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like I said with the idea of banning crypto. If you ban crypto, it's just going to go outside the United States. You might as well embrace it.
Ah, there he goes. It came out in 2014. Yeah, I knew it was way before that. Sure. Yeah.
So trying to ignore it or trying to make it disappear is not going to happen. It's here. It's here to stay until everybody gives up doing it altogether. Then maybe it will disappear. But
It wouldn't surprise me if Senator Toomey actually takes over Gary Gensler's chair because I don't think he's going to be continuing on anymore after this investigation.
I
Or
think
if he's
Gary
going to
will
step
leave,
down.
and if he's not arrested and thrown in jail, then he'll be.
I'm pretty sure he'll be stepping down because there's a lot of eyeballs on him now. He's actually going to be sitting. I think actually this week I might have missed it. This week I think he was it today. I think Wednesday. I think it was today actually.
Okay.
Today he was sitting. He was sitting and giving
Giving
his
test, yeah,
test.
deposition.
Yeah, his testament on. Yeah, yeah. On the whole FTX
Right.
debacle.
All right.
All
Well,
right, continuing on.
more
Let's move
stuff.
over to the next article. This one's uh, Bitcoin miner core scientific files for Chapter 11
It's
bankruptcy.
Bitcoin miner core scientific files for chapter
Thank you.
bankruptcy. There's no commas in there.
Thank you. So this is new to me. I didn't know that this company even existed.
Really? I
But
thought we talked about it before.
core scientific.
Yeah,
I,
we've definitely talked about it before. Whenever I mentioned things like what I was doing with my own business was
uh-huh.
that there are three major like Hut 8 and
Yes.
Core Scientific is one of them, and then what was the other one that was in Texas?
Marathon.
Yeah, Marathon. There's one more.
Yeah, and Riot.
Riot blockchain. So I guess there's four companies that I know of that are all struggling, and Core Scientific is gone belly up.
Yep, yep, and that's due to the bear market, and that's basically what this news article is saying is
Yeah.
bear market is hurting a lot of companies, and it says right here, Bitcoin plunged more than 60% year to date, and that's what's hurting a lot of companies. Not only that, obviously, with the price of crude oil going up, and that's actually giving us, right?
Yeah, everything. This is one of the biggest problems we faced. Is as soon as it kicked over from Ethereum, all those other miners, well, not all of them, but a good chunk of them, moved to other coins, which drove up the hash rate on all these other coins that were previously not really all that expensive to mine. But then the price of Bitcoin dropped a lot, right? Which, of course, drops everything else. Not that everything else is necessarily based on Bitcoin, but almost everybody trades every coin through it. And so the hash rate is high and the price is low, and it just makes it almost completely impractical to mine anything at all. Like there's only one coin I know of that you can make money on, only one, and that's Dynamo. And I know I talk about it a lot, but you actually can still make money on Dynamo. It actually is above water right now.
Nice, nice. So here's a quote. Given the uncertainty regarding the company's financial conditions, substantial doubt exists about the company's ability to continue as growing concerns for a reasonable period of time. Of course, said at the time. So, yep, there it is. Oh, here's something about Celsius. Bankrupt crypto lender Celsius court documents also revealed it owes Core Scientific millions of dollars in unpaid electricity tariffs.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. According to the firm, it's losing approximately $53,000 per day to cover what Celsius had refused to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They were expecting to be making
Wow.
money off of Celsius, and then Celsius is gone now and has been for almost a year. So they
That's
were depending on that, and now they can't. And I know because I wasn't depending on them, but I was at least storing my profits in there. Or not
So
profits, but
how would you run this company if you were the CEO?
what? Which Core Scientific?
Or just a mining company in
It's so
general?
hard to. All right. So when I started out, my ridiculously small number of GPUs I was doing in the very, very beginning, which was like 20, we only had 3 machines. And the rent for what I was paying at the time was easily affordable. The reason that we had to change our business plan was because we kept building up and building up and building up to the point where once we start not being able to pay our bills, I wanted to make sure that the rent bill was still affordable to the company members to support the company going forward. But if you're bleeding, $50,000 a day,
Yeah.
then unless people have millions of dollars a month that they can use, 600, what is that? 50 times 6 times 30 would be $1.5 million a month. If you can come up with $1.5 million a month to support the company every month until it comes back online and starts making money again, then do that. And that I knew this when this happened in January of this year. I said, look, we're hitting a bear market. It's going to be crypto winter for a while. We need to keep supporting this as long as we possibly can. And we've reached the point where we can no longer support it unless the market turns around. So we're hibernating until that turns around. Now, Core Scientific, as well as some things like Riot and Marathon, maybe even Hut 8, if they're struggling just as much, they're talking about millions of dollars that they have to pay daily, plus their entire facilities. We don't even own our facilities, so we don't have to worry about that part. There's some logic to leasing as opposed to owning.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yeah, it
nice thing
sounds like
about
that's
owning
what.
is you can always just sell the property, so we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as if I were the in charge of Core Scientific, I think I would probably have held a lot more cash back. I would have kept a lot more liquid funds sitting around. But they also have investors, and they have to pay those investors. We don't. Well, that's not true. We do have some investors, but they recognize that the way our plan worked was that they were only going to get the coin. That was the payment. Even if it didn't equal U.S. dollars equivalent of coin, we were doing all the work for them. So
Yeah. Okay. Move on to the next one. This one is Trump NFTs tanking as hype dies. Floor prices down 70%. It's only been a couple days. Come on. Oh, are
well, you
you
do know he sold
surprised?
out, right? Originally, they did sell out. So he's
Well,
if whatever his commission was, he made the commission on all of the
sure. That was
NFTs.
to be expected, of course. It's a Trump limited edition
Right.
um,
But
NFT.
this is only the resale price has gone down.
Yeah. So
So
the floor price for the former U.S. President's Polygon-based NFTs has dropped 74% since peaking on Saturday. Let's see here. Donald Trump's NFT collection is losing value as sales fall following a brief spike over the weekend. Trading volume fell 57% from Sunday to Monday, while the floor price for the NFTs has dropped 74% since the Saturday peak. Well, there you go. That's exactly what you just said, Jake. That it's from its peak, and you did mention that they were up. What were these things selling for? Is it on here? Or selling for
74% drop
six?
since Saturday rather.
So let's see, NFTs selling for an average just over 680 a piece, although the total volume fell nearly 1.95 million. That's total volume. 680 piece, you're still making 6-7x on your NFTs. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And remember, he gets paid on the commissions of every single sale, so or secondary
Mm-hmm.
sale.
Yeah.
So he's going to keep making money as long as people keep trading these dumb things.
And they'll continue to trade.
Yep. Because
I don't
it's
get it,
it's
man.
it's at this point it's I'm sure there are people out there who are crypto savvy and like Trump. I'm not going to say a person who probably follows us, but there's also probably people out there. In fact, I would guess majority of the people who are buying and selling and trading these stupid things is because of the ig or is it Ig Nobel, not Ig Nobel, infamous aspect of Trump. It's like, oh yeah, Trump is flaming dumpster fire. Of course, we want to get his stupid NFTs because we're going to make fun of him.
Well, I guess it's bad timing for me to insert that my book is digital and it's an NFT. and you guys can buy it on
Like
the
I said,
Revenus
if
exchange
anybody who
for
buys
$2.
ESCO is going to know that in 10 years from now, they can say they bought a copy for only 10 Raven as opposed to the 1 million Raven price it will be in 10 years.
What is it? That's 20 cents, bro. That's 20 cents. I know. That's what I'm selling my book for. Not $100.
It's
You
yeah,
guys
but
can
it's
buy it for
always
less
been
than a
10
dollar.
Raven, regardless of the price
Yeah,
of Raven.
yeah,
So
exactly,
the price is
exactly,
not about the price of Raven. The price is about what the value of Raven is more important,
exactly. Yep.
not the fiat
Yeah.
value.
So NFTs are they still going to be anything in the future? I'm sure they are. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if in 2023 there's going to be a next evolution of NFTs moving towards gaming and digital media, such as more films. You know, we did see a little snippet in 2022 with films. We're talking about big name films. Was it Quentin Tarantino had a film that he put out on as an NFT? I think he was actually being sued for that.
Wait,
Yes.
who was?
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, right, they were dealing with that was because he was trying to put out NFTs based off of stuff that he didn't actually own.
Mm, Yeah, yeah, yes. Technically, he didn't own it. Yes, but he did direct the film, right?
Right. Yeah, but it's not. Even though he directed it, somebody else technically helped him make the film, and therefore
Yes,
those publishing companies technically own the film.
and that's where he got caught up. Yep,
Yeah,
you're
it's like,
absolutely
dude,
right.
just because
So
you're a director doesn't mean you. I mean, yes, you may have written the script, but you don't own it because someone else paid to make it a movie. So you need to kind of
so
let them deal with
there's
it.
this boom with NFTs and with AI imaging that's
Hmm.
going on right now, and apparently that's been
Ready. You can go.
influencing the NFT market in a very negative way
Hmm.
because there's a lot of non-unique. Well, they're unique, but it's very obvious that they are AI rendered pieces. And so, since this is heavily saturated in the market, because they're so easy to make, people are just making them like in the thousands. It is dumping them on the market because it doesn't take you time. When you're an actual artist, it takes you a very very long time to make a very amazing masterpiece. When
Yeah.
you're using AI, you plug in a
Yeah.
couple words and bing bang boom, a couple seconds later, there you go. And
Right.
if you make that into a script code, you can print out thousands of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean it's infinite replicable content. So, but yes, it does kind of suck. I mean,
So,
I'm not saying
so
at one
right
point.
now,
Go ahead, sorry.
so right now it is it's a negative effect with AI rendering. But what's going to happen? This is my prediction is that real artists will actually be more valuable. Their artwork will be more valuable. Will be realized more valuable in the future, right? So and on top of that, there's already technology being built out that exists already that can identify anything that is rendered as artificial intelligence based NFTs or artwork, videos, images, all that stuff. So
Right.
that's good. That's good. That I'm really happy that that technology is out because now we can actually plug that into these exchanges. Say, hey, is this a legitimate artist or is this AI? You know, and then we can have like a little caution below or a little logo or a little watermark stating this is artificially built or created.
Yep. Right. So on to some interesting news from uh, the Democratic Political Action Committee, or PAC. Apparently, they realized that the money that FTX sent to them was not theirs to keep. So, a major Democratic
Mm-hmm.
PAC to return $3 million dollars in FTX executive donations, the report says.
So yeah, if you guys don't recall, and we said it many times on the podcast that SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, has donated millions of dollars to both Republicans and Democrats over the course of his reign of power as one of the global exchanges out there. And now that money is being requested to be paid back, which surprisingly, it looks like it's going to happen. Which is like once again, I'm gonna quote that surprising.
Yeah.
I thought you had something. Sorry about
No,
that.
sorry. I was just trying to type something. Um, Yeah, it's the thing. The question I had was the Democratic Party's returning money. Is the Republican Party turning money?
That's a good
Because
question.
the donations were roughly the same. As I recall, the total number of donations to each party, although it was through dark donations that Sam sent for the
So
Republican Party, he sent about $11.5 million to each party through various different things. It's not like he sent it just to one PAC. He sent it to multiple PACs.
yeah, so it says right here, prior to FTX's spectacular collapse last month, its then CEO's Bankman-Fried doled out some $46.5 million to support political campaigns, according to nonprofit OpenSecrets.org. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it's well,
And
I mean, it's a lot when you think about the total amount of he was sending it out. But I mean, plenty of large donations are sent for other purposes. But I'm going to say that I don't think Maxine Waters would have been so friendly with Mr. Bankman Fried, if he didn't send such a gargantuan amount of money to the campaigns.
exactly. And it still wouldn't surprise me even after he's summoned here in the next couple of days to give a
You should
statement.
compare how much money large companies like Apple and Google spend on super PACs in order to figure out if he spent a lot. So that close to $50 million is a good chunk of change. It's more than I'll ever see in my lifetime. So
Yeah.
I was a millionaire
So,
once when my house was worth $1 million. So I was a millionaire on paper, but not in real life.
In 2020, for example, Bankman-Fried donated $5 million to the Futures Forward USA, and that's kind of what you're talking about, right? There's multiple organizations that he was donating to.
Right.
Let's see, another one he shelled out $70 million to support Joe Biden with ads.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
But that's a
So
political action committee that shelled that out. It's not Sam Bankman-Fried. It's just they sent, what is it, 160 million total. Said at the top of the article they spent 160 million dollars total, and that was just for ads. There we go. Senate Majority PAC, which spent 160 million dollars on ads supporting Democratic candidates in 2022 United States races, will return 1 million donation made by Bankman-Fried and a 2 million made by Singh, Nishad Singh. So it's kind of like, okay, that's it. He gave you guys a lot more than that. They're like, well, we spent it all. And that's why we won. Ha ha ha. Whatever. Yeah, I really wish that, I mean, this is aside from what we're talking about, but I do really wish that there wasn't so much money involved in politics. It feels like we spend an awful lot of money
I
just
I
doing
agree with you
advertisements.
100%. I think that no, I'm not even gonna say I think lobbyists should be banning. Lobbying should be banned.
No, I don't.
That.
I don't know. I don't think lobbying should be banned. One, how do I put it? Getting off political track, if that's what we're talking about. But I feel like the money should be evenly distributed. But I know people don't want to do that because it was established that money donation is freedom of speech. It is a form of free speech by donating money, and that was established. I don't remember how many years ago now, but because of that establishment, you can't redistribute the funds. It has to go to whomever that person donates it to. But the thing that's so frustrating about that is it just means that, and it's not always true, but it often means that he who hath the biggest bank account wins. And that's not how this country was set up. So even though a lot of people say sarcastically it was how the country was set up, the intent here is not to just say, well, if you have a lot of money, you can rule a country, which it certainly does seem that way to those who don't have a lot of money and who care about the country. So it just seems rather unfair. Anyways,
Let's move on.
moving to the last
Well,
10 of the year.
well, actually, one thing I don't know. Did I mention it that I watched the whole FTX? There's a little link here within the last article. FTX now seeking prompt return to Sam Bankman-Fried's political donations. And actually, that's the image there of Mr. Ray, John Ray III, when he had his testament on the record.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? Yeah.
What?
That guy. Did I say this on the podcast last week or the last episode? That I watched that video for about 4 hours long.
Okay.
Did I? I don't know. Anyways, he was great. He obviously has a lot of experience doing this. So even though FTX is bankrupt, the guy is amazing. I don't know if he's gonna be able to get everybody's money back, but I think he is the right man to do it.
Hmm.
Anyways, continuing on. Last article of the day, which is pretty cool. 10 crypto tweets that made a splash in 2022. This one's coming in from Cointelegraph. Let's check it out. So, do you want me to just read all this, or
Yeah, read
just
the tweets.
okay? Let's read the tweets. So
On the
let's see.
10th day of... Oh, wait.
That's pretty much what it is, right? So here's 10 memorable tweets from 2022. The first one is the Terra collapse. This is well, I gotta read that beginning part. The crypto space suffered several blows this year. Among the collapse was the Terra project. Terra started in 2022 as a prevalent project of the crypto industry, with Luna assets sitting in the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap. In May, however, it crumbled, and yeah, it pretty much became depegged. And here's a tweet from Do Kwon. Well, it doesn't really go into much. Well, let's read this. Number 3, it says, first, if you don't understand how Terra's peg stabilization mechanism works, here's a good overview. This one's he retweeted from Pedro. Update on the Luna tokenomics: how to predict when depeg will end. Bring back my death spiral in Luna model. Turned out it was accurate. All of those didn't age well. Jabs at it didn't age well. What? Dokwan responds: a review of the current situation. UST is currently trading at 50 cents, a significant deviation from its intended peg at $1. Yes, that is a crazy tweet when that happened, because that literally happened like overnight.
Well,
It was
it's
crazy.
because the pegged, stablecoins don't really stick somewhere between or somewhere around 3% of one. The most I've ever seen USDT dip was just for like a split second until somebody bought back into it, where the price fell I think it fell 6% off USDT once, when there was just a massive amount of trading going on, and there's people were dumping a gargantuan sum of funds. 6% down was a huge pull on USDT, but 50% down? That just doesn't happen.
So the next tweet is Twitter's new Dogecoin focused owner. Yes, Elon Musk. Let's see what his tweet's all about. He literally, all he tweeted was, "The bird is freed,"
Free
and
bird.
that got 2.4 million likes.
Yep.
And I'm sure, yeah, there's 143,000 replies. I wish we can get that. That'd be nice.
Let that sink
The
in.
next,
Let that sink in.
Three Arrows Capital Falls is the third one. Another significant company that went under was Three Arrows Capital, one of the multi-billion-dollar hedge funds filed for bankruptcy that was affected by Terra, by the fall of Terra. And let's see here. This one's from a tweet from Suzu. We are in the process of communicating with relevant parties and fully committed to working this out. Unfortunately, it did not work out. They went bankrupt.
Now he's under arrest.
Yeah. And the next tweet is the FTX collapse, and we've talked about that over and over again.
In these last 2 months.
Actually, can you take that? I got somebody at the door.
Yeah, all right. So FTX collapses, and SBF, which sounds an awful like FTX. I'm sure that was on purpose. No, I'm just kidding. He says, also in replying to himself, I will try to be helpful during the hearing and to shed light on what I can. FTX, U.S. solvency and American customers, pathway to could return value to users internationally. I doubt that. What I think led to the crash and my own failings were the things he's going to talk about. Furthermore, I had thought of myself as a model CEO who wouldn't become lazy or disconnected, which made it that much more destructive when I did, because I always was. Oh, wait, so that's not part of what it was. I'm sorry. Hopefully, people can learn from the difference between who I was and who I could have been. Okay, dude. I hate to say it, but I don't think you ever were a model CEO. I don't even know if that is part of the vernacular in this case. Oh, let's see here. The Ethereum merge, which actually happened before the collapse of FTX, which is weird that it became, I guess technically it's a bigger thing, although the number of retweets isn't nearly as high as Elon Musk's stuff. Vitalik Buterin says, and we finalized, and that was on September 1st. Happy merge all. This is a big moment for the Ethereum ecosystem. Everyone who helped make the merge happen should feel very proud today, except for all the miners who got screwed. Me being one of them. Not happy about that. Great. Thanks, Vitalik. You suck. Let's see. This is the fifth one. Regulation. That being something that Cynthia Loomis is talking about. Final 5 tweets on this list don't focus much on the major events as they simply look at the points of interest. Cynthia Loomis tweeted with 5.2 thousand tweets, requiring open source developers to build the AML KYC, that's anti-money laundering, know your customer, into Node software and hardware wallets. That dog won't hunt. Loomis shed light on the crypto regulation thing that we're going on, increasingly popular topic this year. Number 6, Bitcoin's price troubles. Of course, it dropped down below 20,000 from its high of, 70,000 last year. Bitcoin had a really tough year, definitely. Although it's, in my opinion, going back to where it should have been all this time. Peter Schiff says, Bitcoin has finally broken the neckline of the head and shoulders top, the scary part for the longs in the pattern project, a move below $30,000. Once that level is breached, Bitcoin will have completed a massive double top. From there, a crash below 10,000 is highly likely. That's just his opinion. I wouldn't say it's impossible that it could drop below 10,000. I mean, we were at 3,000 only 2 years ago. Well, I guess almost 3 years ago now. Before COVID, or no, it's right when COVID started. It was March. Right when COVID was first actually announced, we were at $3,000 for Bitcoin. And man, even anybody who got a $3,000 Bitcoin at that time would have been, we're further down, John, would have been really happy with the $16,000 value of Bitcoin now, because that's 3x or 6x where it was in March of 2020. So, sign of crypto's mainstream attention in March before much of the year's bearishness. Tom Brady tweeted, "What's up, Vitalik? This is, you may not know me, but just wanted to say I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you for everything you've built on the world of crypto. Otherwise, autograph wouldn't have been possible. Hope I get to meet you someday. You're the GOAT." And here is his response to something that Vitalik was saying.
Vitalik literally said, I didn't even know who Tom Brady is.
Yeah. Probably because it's just not his thing. It's not his wheelhouse. So why would he even think about football?
Exactly.
All right. So still a Bitcoin proponent, MicroStrategy co-founder, the infamous and famous Michael Saylor, has been a face of the company's Bitcoin acquiring pursuits. They now have over 100,000, actually 130,000 Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor's very simple tweet, as simple as Elon Musk's tweet: trust Bitcoin, not people. Because if you trust people, they'll crash your Doge.
Yeah.
And then our last tweet of the year, or at least famous tweet of the year here, is by A. Pompliano. Simple tweet from the industry native: bear markets eventually end, but they can last longer than you think. That bear can hibernate for a damn long time. If you speak to anyone who has been around for multiple cycles, they will tell you, now is the time to focus, build, and learn.
Yes.
Probably a good way to round out the year. Because with all this bear market and crypto winter we've been experiencing, even through the summer of this year.
A lot of people want to become millionaires in crypto.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a millionaire at the top, investing in at the top. Right now, while things are at the bear market, and that's what Pompliano's talking about. Right now, and investing now. Everyone's like, nah, I'm getting out of crypto, and I'm going to stop mining. You know, you mined up until the last minute, Jake. You know, and are still continuing to mine, right? Yeah. And that's pretty much what Pompliano's saying. Even right now, when things aren't valuable, buy it up. Buy it up, buy it up, buy it up. Because when things bounce back up, you're going to see.
And they will.
You're not going to be FOMOing. You're not going to have any FUD. You're just going to enjoy the ride up and make your millions.
Yep.
Beautiful, Pompliano. Beautiful.
So, with that, ending our show for the last show before Christmas, episode 470. We all thank you for listening in and giving your thumbs up on our episodes, if you will. Thank you very much for doing that. Commenting if you like. You can always join us on Twitter. I forgot to put the coin tree up here real quick. You can always donate to our Cointree, not Linktree. Cointree is for crypto enthusiasts and people who like crypto in general. Lots of places to donate. Also, Discord. You can check us out there. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Coinbase, Patreon, Reddit, Linktree, which is also like Cointree. Tippin' Me and Odyssey, which will be shortly decommissioned, unfortunately. They lost their battle with the Fed. So, thank you all for listening. And as we say at the end of every show, and I will say as well, a Merry Christmas if you are celebrating. Stack Sats and HODL.
Huddle.
Adios.
Adios.
Feliz Navidad.